My name is Daniel. Today, we're going to try and answer this question. How does active travel keep us fit and healthy? Now, there are so many different ways that we can be active. So let's pause the video here and you can share with your class what activities you like to do to be fit and healthy. There are so many ways that we can be fit and healthy and active. It could be playing sports like hockey or tennis or football. It could be gymnastics or dancing. It could be playing games like TIG or running. There are loads of different ways that we can be active. Here's a challenge for you. Can you explain why these things keep us fit and healthy? So for example, I like to go cycling and riding my bike, and as I do that, my leg muscles are getting stronger because they're having to push those pedals, and my heart is getting stronger because it's beating all that fresh blood around my body to help me move. Let's pause the video again and see if you can explain why your favourite activity helps you to keep fit and healthy. So, the next question then. How can we be active on our journey to school? We'll pause the video one more time and let's see how many different ways of travelling to school actively you can think of. Brilliant! I hope you thought of some good ideas there. On the next pages are some pictures and videos of children travelling actively. Let's see if you can work out what they're doing. Who can tell me what this picture is here? What are the children doing? Yes, so they are walking to school. Now, walking is a really good way for us to be active because we use our arms and our legs to move our bodies, and just like the children on the picture there, we get to talk to our friends and our family on the journey. Let's see what's happening in this picture here. Who can tell me what he was doing in that picture there? That's it, he was riding his bike. And riding our bikes is really good fun. It strengthens our muscles, and being outside means that we get to breathe in all that lovely fresh air, which is good for our bodies. Can you work out what this person's doing in this video here? So they are scooting. And scooting is really good for our balance because we have to make sure that the scooter doesn't wobble. It's very good for our leg muscles because we have to push really hard to make the scooter go. And it's lots of fun being able to go on a scooter with our friends. Now, in some parts of the world, children travel in some very interesting ways to get to school. Can you work out what this child's doing in this picture? So this person is skiing to school. Now, in some really cold countries where they get lots of snow, maybe like Finland, some children are able to ski to school, which must be so much fun going downhill, but a long way to get back up again. And what are these children doing here? Yes, so they are using a special boat called a canoe, and they are using it to travel to school over the water, because some children have to travel along a river or across a lake to get to school. How amazing is that? Now, in the next session, we're going to do an activity to find out how being active affects our heart rate. So I'll look forward to seeing you again then. Hello, I'm Daniel, and in this session, we're going to see if we can answer this question. What does active travel do to your heart rate? Now, there are so many different ways that we can travel actively. So on our journey to school, we could walk, or we could scoot, or we could cycle. And in some countries, children even ski or take a boat to school as well. And having a good heart rate is really important because our hearts pump blood all around our body to all the different parts. And if we've got a healthy heart, that means that all those different parts are getting lots of oxygen and lots of nutrients which are really good for them. Today, we're going to do an experiment to find out which type of travel makes our heart beat the fastest. So, do you think it could be sitting in a car or an active journey to school? I tell you what, if you think that sitting in the car will give us a faster heartbeat, I want you to do this right now. Fold your arms. And if you think that an active journey to school would make your heartbeat faster, I want you to put your hands on your head like this. Let's see. So, arms folded. If we think sitting in the car will make our heart beat faster, or hands on our head if we think that an active journey to school will make your heart beat the fastest. Let's see the class, what do we think? Fantastic! Now you're going to get the chance to find out what the answer is. To find out what our heart rate is, we need to find our pulse. And we can do that just like the picture on the screen. So I want everyone to put your left hand in the air like this and give me a big wave. And then we're going to get our other hand like this, and we're going to get two fingers just like that, and we're going to put them just on the point here where our wrist meets our hand. And you might be able to feel a little pulse there. So it'd be like a boop, 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 just like that. Now your teacher might want to pause the video at this point to make sure that everyone has found their pulse. I hope you've all been able to find your pulse. So firstly, we're going to find out what our heart rate is when we're sat in a car. So for this, we need to be sat down. Take your seatbelt, strap yourself in, make sure it's clipped in so that we're nice and safe, and find your pulse. And we're going to count how many beats you can feel in 30 seconds. So find your pulse, and we're going to start counting in 3, 2, 1, go. And stop. Why not pause the video here and find out how many beats everyone counted? So we found out what our heart rate might be like when we're sat in a car. Now, I think it's time for us to find out what our heart rate might be like when we're being active. So I'm going to make my circle bigger and we're going to go on an active journey to school together. So, to measure your active heart rate, I need all of you to very sensibly stand up. If you're sat behind a table, make sure your chair is tucked in and make sure there's no obstacles around you. And then, once you've done that, you're going to need to draw an imaginary circle round your feet. And you need to make sure you stay in that circle all the time. So your teacher might want to pause the video to make sure that everyone is ready to go. We're going to go on an active journey to school together. So firstly, we're going to imagine that we've just woken up, so we give a nice big yawn. That's a nice big stretch. We're going to need to get our clothes on, so we're going to put a t-shirt on, put some trousers on, that's it. And then we're going to eat our breakfast, a nice bowl of cereal, and brush our teeth. And now we're ready to go on our journey to school. So firstly, we're going to start by walking. Who can show me how to do some walking to school? That's it. Fantastic. And we might change the walking into some jogging. Who can show me how to do some jogging to school? Brilliant. That's right. And then we might go even faster. We might start running to school. Who can show me how to run on the spot? Go, go, go. That's it. Does anyone know how to jump to school? Can you show me how to jump? So jump in, jump in, jump in. That's it. Jump into school. And what about hopping? Can anyone hop to school? We can do some hopping. That's it. And what about the other leg? Go on. Fantastic. Who can do some scooting to school? Show me what scooting to school would look like. Brilliant. That's it. So we're pushing. Who can do it with the other leg? And what about cycling? Who can do some cycling? Show me how you do some cycling. And what about some children ski to school? Who can show me what skiing might look like? That's it. And some boating. Who can boat to school? So row the boat. Fantastic. We might, if we were really happy for school, we might skip to school. And then one last bit, we're going to run as fast as we can on the spot. Are we ready? Off we go, off we go. Run, 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 run. You can go even faster. Even faster. Nearly there. And we made it to school. Brilliant. Well done, everybody. Now we're going to sit back down and we're going to find our pulse again. Off you go. Now you might want to pause this until everyone's ready to go. So find your pulse again. Wave your hands. Put our fingers here. Ready? We're going to go in 3, 2, 1, go. And stop. Did any of you notice a difference between your heart rate when you were active compared to when you were sat in the car? Why not pause the video here and find out how many beats everyone counted this time? Did anyone notice a difference? I counted more beats after I'd been active than when I was sat in the car, and I think you will have found the same. And that means that our hearts are pumping more blood with all that good oxygen and all those good nutrients all around our body when we're being active, and that helps to make us healthier. Also, how did you feel? I bet a lot of you were smiling and giggling and laughing when you were being active. And that's because when we're active, our brains release chemicals that make us feel happier and help us not to worry as much. So active travel also helps our brains and our minds. I hope you enjoyed that session where we found out what active travel does to our heart rate. In the next lesson, we're going to do a true or false challenge with some facts all about our heart. I'll look forward to seeing you then. Hello and welcome back. Today, we've been trying to answer this question. How does active travel keep us fit and healthy? In this session, we'll play a game of true or false with some facts about the heart. We'll learn some more ways that active travel keeps us fit and healthy, and there'll be a chance for you to encourage other children to be active on the journey to school. So let's start with a game of true or false. I'm going to give you some facts about the heart. Some of them are true, but some of them are false. If you think the fact is true, I want you to go like this. Who can put their hands on their head? That's it. So if you think it's true, hands on your head. If you think it's false, I want you to cross your arms like this. Who can do that? Fantastic. Are you ready? Let's get our first fact up. So, the first fact. The heart is a muscle. Do you think it's true or false? I'll give you a few seconds to decide. So the answer to this one is, it's true. The heart is a muscle. And just like other muscles in our body, the more we use it, the stronger it gets. So by being active and getting our heart to pump all that blood around our bodies, that makes our heart stronger. Let's go to the next one. The heart is about the size of a watermelon. What do you think? Is this one true or is this one false? Off you go. So the answer to this one is, it's false. So the heart is not the size of a watermelon, because that would be about that big and it would struggle to fit in your bodies. So the heart is about the size of a fist. Can everyone do that for me? So hold your fist in the air and imagine that your fist is just inside your chest there. And that's a little bit like our heart is. Let's go on to the next one. Listening to music affects your heartbeat. Do you think it's true or do you think it's false? So hands on head if it's true, arms crossed if it's false. Off you go. So this is true. Listening to music does affect your heartbeat. So if you were to listen to really loud music with a strong drum beat, with a boom, 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 that means that your heart gets a lot faster. Whereas if you want to be nice and calm and have a nice resting heartbeat, we might want to listen to calmer music like some classical music. Last one, and this is a tricky one. If the blood vessels in your body were laid out end to end, they would go round the earth twice. Now, all around your body are tiny tunnels that carry your blood from the heart to all the different body parts and then back to the heart again. And these are called blood vessels. So if we were to take out all the tiny little tunnels in your body and lay them out end to end, would they go round the whole world twice? Do you think that's true? Or do you think that's false? I'll give you a bit longer for this one. And the answer to this is, it's true! How amazing is that? So if you were to take out all the tiny little tunnels that take blood all round your body and back to your heart again, if you laid them out end to end, they would go round the whole world twice. That's incredible, isn't it? So we know that choosing to travel actively, like walking or cycling or scooting, is good for our heart. Let's find out some other ways that active travel is good for our bodies. What are some other ways that active travel helps our bodies? So one way, a little bit like the heart, is that being active gives us stronger muscles. So if we regularly walk or scoot or cycle, our arms are having to move, or if we're scooting and cycling, we're having to push our bike or scooter to make it move. And the more we use our muscles, the stronger and fitter they get. Being active also gives us stronger bones. A little bit like muscles, the more we use our bones, and the more they get used to jumping and running and pushing, the stronger they get. And that's especially important for you because your bones are still growing and developing. Being active also gives us better mental health. So when we're active, we release these special chemicals called endorphins. Can you say endorphins? That's it. And endorphins keep us happy and they help us to smile, and they also help us to worry less. So they're really good for our brains. Active travel also helps us to have better sleep. So imagine if you travelled in the car to school and on the way home again, and when you got home you spent all evening sat down playing video games. By the time you went to sleep, I bet a lot of you would not feel very tired. But if you were to travel actively to school, like walking or cycling or scooting, and when you came home from school, you were to do something active too, like going for a walk, or playing sport, or swimming, or dancing, then that would help us have much better sleep, because when we were to go to bed, I think we'd start to feel a lot more tired. And active travel also helps us to learn. So if we were to travel to school in the car, sat down, and we were to then sit down in the class, I think some of you would get a little bit fidgety and it would be quite difficult to listen. Whereas if we were to get up and walk or scoot or cycle in an active way to school, by the time we got to school and we sat down, I think a lot of you would find it much easier to listen and learn better. So it's time for an activity. I would like to see if you can design a poster to encourage other children to be active on the journey to school. And make sure you include some of the interesting things you've learned today. I would love to see some of the posters that you've created, so do ask your teacher to send some in to me. Thank you for listening, and I'll look forward to seeing what you've created.